You guys want to introduce yourselves?
I am Justin Benson. I'm one of the filmmakers of The Endless.
I'm Moorhead. I'm one of the other filmmakers of The Endless.
I'm Jimmy LaValle. I did the score to The Endless, and I also make music under the album Leaf.
Have you ever heard Caspian?
Yes, but the only reason why is because, so we tour in China a lot.
Okay.
Because post-rock is huge in China. And
interesting.
My first tour in China, like a month before, the same guy had brought over Caspian. I'd never heard of Caspian, and they were like blowing up, or not blowing up, but they were like doing fantastic, like phenomenal. And in Asia in general, post rock is kind of a big deal. And so I'd never heard of like a lot of these bands, and then like checked out Caspian. I was like, oh. Okay, yeah, it's that same.
Of all the post,
quiet loud.
I was gonna say, of all the post rock I've heard, I feel like Caspian does a little more of a twist of makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Over the course of it, like Explosion of the Sky.
This Will Destroy You too is also kind of like they have a lot of cool twists.
Yes,
and like
they're mostly their first album, and a band that is considered post rock by some that I would never ever consider post rock in a million years is Sigur Ros.
Right.
Which all of us are inspired by.
I guess if we're gonna say like if you're gonna talk like the later records after Kjartan left, they got a little more heavy.
Maybe with like Kebacure and like.
I think that was the first.
That might be
was
it
out,
though.
Yeah.
That I thought I remotely even considered.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like just like ethereal, like orchestral.
Yeah.
Beauty, like how do you?
But as I was saying, on this record, like I love Sigur Ros and their whole catalog. But this record does not have a stinker on it at all. It's like front to back. It's perfect.
This packaging, as a vinyl nerd,
yeah.
like they really took how important this music is to me, and they manifested it in such a visual, like tactile way. You know, you have this really thick book. It's so, everything about it is just. Yeah. This is one of my favorite records I own, just on a musical and visual level. Yeah. It was out of print when I first got into records, and I remember seeing it went for like $300-400 online. And I was at Amoeba Records once, and it was on their back wall for $300. And I asked them, I was like, "Hey, can I see that?" Like, cause I just wanted to hold it. I wasn't gonna buy it. Like, there was no world where I was gonna be like, "Here you go." But I remember holding it and being like, "Oh man, one day I'm gonna own this." And then they repressed it. I was like, "I am gonna own it," and I bought it. And it sounds great. It's a great pressing of it, and and now it's out of print again. So I don't know how much it goes for now, but you missed your chance if you wanted to get it.
When I was in college and actually high school, I still am and remain to this day just deeply uncool. And
it's true.
When I would drive to school either listening to like the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack or like silence. Like I was the weirdest kid. And actually somehow, I'm not kidding you here. And
just the Pirates?
Thank God.
Pirates 1?
I'm giving you examples, but
like
it was something
Disneyland
like that.
Version or like the actual film?
Wow, that would have been even cooler, weirdly enough, if it was the
Disneyland version with my son.
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, I actually gave Chris
no, it was the film.
The guy behind the camera right now, he has a picture disc I gave it to him of the Disneyland version of Pirates.
Yeah. With Sigur Ros, or that album in particular, that one just popped up on my radar through whatever reason, and that one went on loop as I was driving around. But talk. And it was great. And that was, I think it ended up, once again, my movie trailer knowledge weirdly pops in. I think they did Happy Pola. They used that in Happy Pola.
Nailed it.
Thank you. I said it as fast as I could.
Every American says it so fast to hope they could just move past it.
Starford.
Well, Starford is trying to say the title of that album though without messing up.
No,
but anyways, that was in the Children of Men trailer, which I think I watched the trailer over and over. Yeah. And what's interesting is they blame that song for the financial failure of the movie.
That's a
weirdly
enough,
thing. Of course, really? because it painted it as this kind of optimistic, beautiful thing, and they don't not the one thing that they say, but they point towards it. They say it was mispresented to the audience, and that trailer song was the wrong thing, and I'm like, screw that, man. All I ever wanted to hear was that song. That's the only reason I care about that movie is because of that song. Like that song, I associate that movie and that song, and it's not even in the movie. So
They should do a recut of the movie just scored completely by Sigur Ros and see what happens.
no, it's
That's
just
like-
it's just how do we call it? Just over and over and over. This is as someone who does not have too many records. If you bought a $1,500 record,
I would jump off a bridge because that would be
Well,
the worst move.
let's just say that you felt like you spent it okay. You know, you don't have $1 billion.
So this is
but-
like a fantasy world. Got
But
it.
you
Okay.
felt like it was money well spent, but it's not everything. Do you play it or do you just own it?
I play it once and then like seal it in a safe.
Okay.
Because I want to hear it. I want to know what it sounds like. But then why would I play it again when I hear it digital
All
at
right.
that point, or a lesser version of it
All right.
if it's the same record? But you gotta play it once. I feel really strongly about playing your records. Like I have
Right.
records. I have some records that are worth a couple $100, and I've played them. I don't play them to the point of wearing them down, but I played them because records are meant to be played, and you know, especially if it's a record that's mastered for vinyl, it sounds better on vinyl. Like you're doing a disservice to the music to not play it. Let's talk about a guy that everyone loves, Mr. David Bowie. I have a span of his stuff here. I mean, you guys told me Bowie's an inspiration for you guys. I mean, he's just kind of an inspirational human. He rocks. Let's go back in time first for a second. I mean, who's gonna deny the greatness of Ziggy Stardust? I think this is most people's favorite. Just like your average person who likes Bowie, like Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy Stardust, Starman.
Space Oddity.
Starman is Space Oddity. Space Oddity is Space Oddity. Or
Yeah.
it's actually self-titled. What's it? Because that
I
record
think
was
it's called-
re-released. It was re-released as.
It is called Space Oddity.
It's called Space Odyssey, but they also
but
have
it
a version
was
that has
reversed-
no title.
Exactly. It was
yeah.
released as self-titled. It's like it's.
Yeah, if you guys were vinyl people, you would know all the nuances of all the pressings.
I hope you guys are wrong. I hope you guys are wrong.
We're not.
Comment sections.
I hope the comment section
They're wrong.
explodes.
I think the reason this is everyone's favorite is because Ziggy Stardust was in Guitar Hero, and Guitar Hero made music popular.
There's some truth to that.
I say it as a joke, but there is some
there's
truth
some truth
to
to
it.
that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I think every human being who's ever been exposed to David Bowie loves David Bowie.
Yeah.
My own personal experience with it is that I was listening to Black Star either when we were writing the Endless or when we were cutting it.
Okay.
Those two things get confused in my head right now for some reason. It was one of those. But beyond that, we've been working on a movie and then a TV show about Aleister Crowley, the infamous early 1900s occultist, basically like a real life Harry Potter, but way more sex and drugs.
Ooh.
And
I'm in.
David Bowie was at one point a pretty hardcore follower of
Oh,
Aleister
really?
Crowley. So
Yeah.
it's something that comes up a lot in terms of his like pop culture legacy.
That's cool.
It's in his music and his lyrics a lot. Like it's
What
not,
era
it's not even
Bowie
a
do you
little
know?
bit.
Do you know offhand? Because I feel like
It's actually he has in one of his albums, I can't remember which one, he recreated a photograph of Aleister Crowley and his.
Yeah.
Aleister Crowley was part of the society. The first magical society he was in was called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and there was a lot of. That was one where like visually there was a ton of influence from ancient Egypt. There's a lot of influence from ancient Egypt and a lot of the occult, but in this one in particular, like the visuals. So a lot of the members would wear these things that make them look like, you know, King Tut, but less funny. But
he's pretty funny.
Still
but
kinda
there's
funny,
a
though.
photo. There's sort of an infamous photo of Aleister Crowley in all of that garb, and David Bowie recreated it, and it's in the inner sleeve of a vinyl album. But I can't remember which one it is.
I
right
wonder
now.
which one it is. I doubt it's here. He has so many albums. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude was a machine. Are you guys familiar with his Berlin trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. for
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Well, then I'm just gonna. These are two of the three. So you got Heroes, Low, and then Lodger. I don't have Lodger.
I don't have Lodger either.
Man, what do we gotta
Yeah.
remedy that ASAP. But these, I mean, Heroes.
But I feel like it's. I don't want to say that Lodger is somewhat forgettable.
Compared to the other two, maybe, but I mean, it's still just a great album.
Heroes is maybe one of the greatest Bowie songs for me. That's like one of my favorite Bowie songs.
I feel like that's almost. I agree with you. I think if there was like a gun to my head right now and he's like favorite Bowie song, I'm shooting, and I would just say something like fast, it would be Heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes is just such a good song, but it almost feels so. It's almost like, what's your favorite Led Zeppelin song? Like Stairway to Heaven. Like that's what it feels like for saying Heroes with Bowie.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know because there's like three eras of Bowie. There's like early, right?
Hunky
And then there's-
Dory.
Yeah, like that. Hunky Dory is actually a great record too.
Okay.
And then there's like the early stuff like Space Oddity, Ziggy Stardust, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it goes kind of. I feel like then it moves into this territory,
Right.
And then it moves into Let's Dance and China Girl or whatever. And then let's talk about the fourth, I guess, or the fifth, really, because I mean he never stopped making records. He was always
Right.
making records, and he was always like improving on himself and just like he just didn't give a shit.
Make sure you check out other parts of this interview on this channel, Too Many Records. Right now, here is a bit of the score from Spring.